This happened to my friend Alex when he used to work at Walmart in night shifts back in 2017. He was in grade 12 and he was graduating. However, this was around maybe Christmas time, and he would constantly be doing night shifts at Walmart that they closed was around 11, but Alex didn't finish working till around 11:30. This time he usually did night shifts, and the night shifts there weren't that bad. Of course, he started working in around evening. Sometime after school, he would go home first to change. Then sometimes he would take the bus to go to Walmart. Other times his parents would drop him off, but most times he took the bus. The bus wasn't really that bad, but of course when he got to work was a little different. While he was working on some stuff, of like stocking shelves and that, he ended up doing this for quite a while. Even though it was a Walmart night shift, he saw someone dashing out in the store. He didn't know who it was, and he thought it assumed that it might have been a customer in a hurry. So he just ignored it and continued his work. A few minutes later, he saw that same person running into the Walmart again. Now Alex was confused. Who the hell was even running up and down? This got Alex confused, so he decided to go over and see what the hell was going on. As he turned around, he went to the bathroom. He could see that there was something strange. He ended up going inside the bathroom, and he ended up putting his phone up, which he means he took his phone out of his pocket and was playing video games to keep himself company. He looked down on the stall beside him and realized that there was some shoes. Then he looked to see that there was somebody staring at him from the stall. Of course, Alex freaked out and immediately ran out of the bathroom. As soon as he found one of the Walmart managers, he showed them to the bathroom of this person and explained the best of his abilities. But when the manager got there, he could not see that person anymore, and he looked in the stalls and even looked the entire bathroom, but they never found the person. However, Alex stopped working night shifts and only worked late afternoon evening shifts. He was never doing night shifts again. He's still not sure who this person was and what they were doing, but regardless, he never saw that person again. About maybe a few years ago in Walmart, I was busy doing my usual shopping for Christmas. Of course, this was Christmas of 2017. I was doing my usual Christmas shopping at Walmart. I had to buy some stuff for my mom and my brother and even my nana and even my dad. As I was Christmas shopping that one day, I was usually doing my usual thing when suddenly I looked to see that there was a man I never seen before. He looked really crazy and looked really like he was homeless. I took my attention away from him. I didn't want him to even think about coming over to where I was, trying to maybe offer me money for drugs or something. But however, I see that man walked up to me and he asked me if I knew where the dryers were. I told him that he would have to talk to an employee of Walmart as I wasn't, and he nodded and he walked over for to wherever the employee was at. I was in the checkout area trying to check out my Christmas stuff when I realized the man was a few people behind me, and I realized that he was making me uncomfortable. Of course, I saw my friend and my brother, so after I paid for the stuff, I went to them and we had McDonald's. However, I didn't even bother seeing that guy or where he went, but of course, I never bothered to tell anybody about this guy. Of course, like I'm gonna say, next day or so, I was looking up in the news on Twitter, and I saw that there was this man who broke into Walmart Mart after closing time and stole a bunch of food, which I could definitely say it consists of some candy and stuff. I don't even know why that he broke in there, but I realized it was the same guy who broke into Walmart, and it was the same guy I saw. This honestly chilled me to the bone, but I'm not even sure if that was ever going to be the case. But I never found that guy, or at least I never saw him again. I still wonder to this day if he was still around. But with that being said, I really hope I don't see him again. This experience at Walmart was horrifying, as anybody can try to do anything at any moment. It takes this one person to ruin someone's life. About maybe a year or so ago, This actually happened while I was home alone. Now, before my parents got separated, I was home alone to watch my brother as my dad was working late and my mom had to do some errands. As my both parents were out, I usually do some stuff like I would just play video games and I would probably just play on the computer. Other times I'd be on my phone, texting my friends and seeing what they were up to. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos when the phone rang. Now I thought maybe this might have been a scam call like people trying to sell you stuff, which I have got that a lot. I walked up to my phone, which was the house phone that was located in the kitchen. I picked up the phone and answered if anyone was there. But surprisingly there was nobody there. And that was confusing. I didn't even know who or what was on the other end, but I didn't hear anybody's voice. Thinking it might have been maybe a scam call, I hung up. But then it called again, and this time I picked up again. But as I picked up, I didn't say anything. There was even no voice on the other side, and I was confused. Hello? I called, thinking to get somebody's attention, but there was still no attention at all. But unfortunately, I couldn't hear anybody. All I could hear was silence. This was just creepy. I decided to write down the number and find out if it was traceable. But it looked like it came from a paid phone or maybe some random number. Maybe used for an app. But I never saw that number again, and it never called me again. So I still wonder who was calling on the other side. That was my question, but I'm afraid I'm never gonna know. So this took place back in sometime in 2017 while my friend named Tyler and I were best friends at the time. Tyler and I were pretty good friends and we were in high school at the time. And of course, I was walking Tyler home as he was walking home from school. I was walking because I had to go to co-op, but Tyler had to go home as he was going to go home for lunch. He wasn't feeling good, mainly because he was having a cold going on, and he insists that I don't walk with him as I could catch the cold. But I told him that I would be okay and that I could take him home. He complied and I was walking him home. As I was walking him home, we stopped to see that there was an unfamiliar car. It looked like a Honda Civic, but I couldn't really tell what was so special about this car. Tyler looked and said that there was nobody that he knows that have a Honda Civic, and this was very strange. We walked up to the car and saw that there was nobody there. Then we looked over to see that it was parked near where the mailbox was, and we looked around, but we couldn't find it. What Tyler did was he took a picture of the car, and we looked at the license plate. The license plate had been duct taped, so he said that he would call the police and let me know more information. Since we didn't want to call it before of it, but of course, we are just going to say that we will just do our usual thing. We walked up to what seems to be his house, and I thanked him and moved on. However, he said when he called the police, at least the other day, as he texted me, he texted me while I was at work, and this is when he said, I called the police and they tried to look for the car, but unfortunately they couldn't find the car. And of course, since the license plate was covered, they couldn't really see who was driving the car or anything. They couldn't really identify the car. And as of that, they're still not sure, but they're still keep an eye on for the person. That was pretty freaky. But of course, Tyler texted me about a few weekdays later, and I looked to see that there was one's car pulling through parts of Tyler's neighborhood. I had no idea what it was, but it looked like it was an unfamiliar person. But of course, we tried to call the police again, but this time they had no evidence to who was there. I'm still not sure if anyone was still there to this very day, but of course, with that being said, we're still not sure about this car, and we have no idea who was driving it. But of course, eventually, before Christmas, we never saw that car again. And I still wonder to this very day if this car was still there. But I'm not too sure. But of course, that said, I'm still am curious on who this person was. With that being said, I never saw that car again, and neither did Tyler. And it was something we are not so sure. But with that being said, we still haven't thought about this incident for a while, and I just thought I would just bring it up because someone needs to know something about this.